Welcome back, Music Maniacs, to another episode of Gibbs Drops the Needle. It's time to go through the top 10 songs and top 10 albums of the week. So let's start off with the songs like we did last week. We will start at number 10 and work our way to number 1, go over its peak position and where it was last week. So now at number 10, we have Dracula by Tame Impala and Jenny. Last week, this track was at number 14. And it peaked at number 10, which is where it's at this week, and it's been on the charts for 36 weeks now. Next up at number 9, we have I Can't Love You Anymore by Ella Langley and Morgan Wallen. Last week, this track was at number 13, and now it's at number 9. It's peaked at number 7 and been on the charts for 6 weeks now. At number 8, we have Shebang by Drake. Last week, this track was all the way up at number 4, and that's where it peaked, and it's been on this list for 3 weeks. At number 7, we have So Easy to Fall in Love by Olivia Dean. This track was at number 7 last week, so it hasn't moved at all. It's peaked all the way up at number 5, and been on this Hot 100 list for 36 weeks now. Next up is another Olivia Dean song at number 6, Man I Need. Last week, this song was at number 10 on the Hot 100 list. It peaked all the way up at number 2 and has been on the charts for 41 weeks. At number 5, we have I Just Might by Bruno Mars. Last week, this track was at number 8, so it moved up a little bit here. It peaked at number 1. So at one time, this was the top song, and it's been on the list for 21 weeks now. At number 4, we have Be Her by Ella Langley. Last week, this song was at number 3. It peaked at number 2 and has been on the Hot 100 for 16 weeks. At number 3, we have Janice STFU. Last week, this was your number 1 song, and that's where it has peaked. And it's been on the Hot 100 for 3 weeks. At number 2, we have Choosin' Texas by Ella Langley. This stayed put right at number 2. It's peaked at number 1 and has been on the Hot 100 list for 33 weeks now. And your number 1 song of this week, the week of June 13th, 2026, is a new song to hit this list. And it's called Hate That I Made You by Ariana Grande. This is a new track, so it's peaked at number 1 and been on the list for 1 week. We will see if it can keep holding that top spot next week. Now we will go through the Billboard 200, which is for the albums. We will go through the top 10 the same way that we did with the songs, going from 10 to number 1, where they were landing last week and where they peaked at. At number 10, we have Habibti by Drake. Last week, this was the number 7 album. It peaked at number 2 and has been on the charts for 3 weeks. Number 9 is a new album to make the list. We have Lemonade by aespa. This has peaked at number 9 since this is new to the list and been on the charts for 1 week. At number 8, we have One Thing at a Time by Morgan Wallen. Last week, this album was number 11, so it's moved up a few spots. It's peaked all the way up at number 1 and has been on the Billboard 200's charts for 170 weeks. Number 7, we have Number Ones by Michael Jackson. Last week, this was number 6, so it took a slight drop. It peaked all the way up at number 6 and has been on the Hot 200 charts for 240 weeks now. At number 6, we have another Michael Jackson album with Thriller. Last week, this album was number 5, so both Michael Jackson's albums just dropping 1 spot this week. It has peaked at number 1 and been on the charts for 721 weeks, which is very impressive. Again, I think I mentioned last week how iconic Thriller is, so it's still up there in the top 10 albums. Next up is another new one by an older artist, The Boys of Dungeon Lane by Paul McCartney. This, obviously, has peaked at number 5 and been on the charts for 1 week. Number 4, we have The Great Divide by Noah Kahan. Last week this was number 3, so it dropped down 1 spot. It peaked all the way up at number 1 and has been on the charts for 6 weeks. At number 3, we have I'm the Problem by Morgan Wallen. Last week this album was number 4, so he's moved up 1 spot this week. It's peaked at number 1 and been on the charts for 55 weeks now. At number 2, we have Dandelion by Ella Langley. Last week, this was still the number 2 album, so it's holding steady there. It's peaked at number 1 and been on the charts for 8 weeks. And your number 1 album this week, the week of June 13th, 2026, is Iceman by Drake, which was the number 1 album last week and has held the spot for 3 weeks now. So we'll tune in next week to see if any album can knock off Iceman. I don't believe that any of the albums that I announced releases for have made an impact yet, so obviously I'm not calling that one properly, but we'll see what continues to happen in these charts. It's nice to see from week to week how they move up and down. I appreciate you tuning in. Please like and subscribe. Until next time, I'm Gibbs. This is Gibbs Drops the Needle. Stay safe and be kind.